another gauge demo from flipgauges.com. Sorry it's been a while since my last video, but I've been having a little bit of a break. Still been doing support, but I thought I'd take some time off because I've been working on these flat out for the last 3 years. So anyway, I'll move on to my new gauge, and today I'm showing you my trim gauge. Now this just goes to show it's another example. If you don't ask, you don't get. So this is a recommendation from a customer, which I've knocked together over the last few weeks. Okay, so basically it's a trim gauge. So it's designed to work with standard sim aircraft as well as PMDG, and let's get into it. Okay, so let's start as normal with the buttons. So on this gauge, the S1 button does a nose down on the trim. So you click that and the nose will drop, and we go straight to S6, and that's the opposite, and that does the nose up, so that will trim as well. Okay, so the S2 will switch the aircraft support modes. So at the moment it's set for sim and airliners. You click the S2 button and it'll switch over to the sim mode, but for general aviation, and the graphics change for more GA type aircraft. Click again, and there you've got the PMDG 737 trim, and again for the PMDG 747 trims as well. Okay, so the next button, S3, if you click this, this will just center the trim. So let's move the trim out off center. And when you click the S3, you can see it just centers back again. Let's go back to the airliner, and we'll move the trim, and then hit S3, and it just centers back to 6. I think I centered it to 5 on the PMDG. S4 adjusts the speed from slow to medium to fast, and S5 drops it back down to medium and slow. This is if you're using the left dial to change the trim. So if we move the trim, it's moving slowly in both directions, and if we adjust, it starts to move faster, and adjust, it moves even faster. So that basically is the adjustment speed of the trim within the gauge itself. Okay, so that covers pretty much the left dial as well, and so you just use that for adjusting the trim from the gauge itself. The right dial is the closest physical control to the blue LED, and that means that this is the menu control dial. Then we'll give it a turn to the right. The first option is version and information, and when you turn the left dial, that will switch the info page on and off. The next option in the menu is side buttons, and you can turn these on and off with the left dial. Now the side buttons are bigger on this gauge to hide the left panel, which is larger, so this is optional. We don't have to leave these on, and we can turn those off again. There is a separate tutorial for side buttons, so please check that out. The next option in the menu is to center the trim. So if you did have the side buttons enabled and you changed the functions of all of the S keys, you can still access all the functionality of the S keys through the menu. So this gives us the option of setting the trim to center as well from the menu. Next option is aircraft mode. This is basically emulates the S2 button, so that will basically just change the mode, the aircraft mode, up and down. The next option is the trim speed. So once again, this is an emulation of the S4 and S5 buttons, and that simply moves the trim speed up and down. And the last option is background color. Now there isn't much change to the background color, but this is being left in because it sort of links up and coincides with the color changes of the other gauges. So you won't see an awful lot of change, but there is a grey background here. You change up one, and that will go black. Then you get a darker grey background, and then eventually it all goes black. So while you can't see much of a change on this gauge, it does actually bring it in line with all the other gauges in my fleet. Okay, so I'm not going to cover individual aircraft functionality. It's once you know this, it pretty much covers it for all the aircraft. The only thing I will note is that the PMDG 737 and the 747 will show you trim values, which coincide with the actual scale down the right hand side. But on the simulation aircraft don't output this value from their gauge graphics. So I'm actually showing you the display of the degrees of the trim, the amount of trim in degrees as well. So that's a slight difference. Okay, so I hope you found this gauge useful, and the demo covers everything you need. Any questions, get back to me through the website. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and don't forget to come back and check out some of our other videos soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.